So I'm Joel Walther. I'm the pastor at Goodrich United Methodist Church. We're a host church for Family Promise of Genesee County. I'm a cheerleader because interestingly enough, when I arrived here a couple of years ago as a pastor, there were a group of people that were interested in getting involved with Family Promise. And at that time I said, it sounds like a great program, let's do it. And ever since then I've just been a cheerleader. It's amazing to me, it's a ministry. So often people in the church assume that the pastor is doing all of the ministry. This is a ministry at Goodrich United Methodist Church that happens in a large part without me in many ways. I always try to make sure to stop in early in the week to welcome the new people that are staying with us when we do host. And I check in throughout the week to make sure that everything is going okay. But other than that, it happens largely without me, and I just cheer people on. Boy, one thing, I don't know, two things. One is that it does keep families together. You know, there are other shelter situations that people who are in tough times could potentially avail themselves of, but they almost always involve separating people apart. And this program enables them to stay together, which is crucial for family stability, for mental health, for lots of reasons. The other thing that I love is the quote-unquote graduations, right? In the middle of the week, to be able to see a family transition to more permanent housing is just a blessing beyond belief, and so it's one of my favorite things. There is one person in particular that has made it their mission to serve a special breakfast every Saturday. He works throughout the week, and so he's not necessarily able to be as involved with Family Promise until the weekend. But on Saturday he comes in. Every time that we've hosted, he has made a point of coming in, and he, I think, makes the breakfast larger and larger each time. He started off doing, you know, like eggs and pancakes and bacon and sausage. The last time he did a made-to-order omelet bar for people. And he just really loves expressing his love for people through making a fancy meal for them, and has made that his mission each time to do a Saturday morning breakfast. And so that's different from my perspective, because often breakfast with Family Promise is just cereal or something that people are grabbing because honestly they're on their way out to go to school and to work and off. But on Saturday, when they have some more free time, he provides this special breakfast, which I think is awesome. The other thing I would say is great is that we have a facility that has this very large gym, which the kids really enjoy, to be able to play basketball, or we have scooters, they can simply run around. I just think that that's a unique asset that we have that we bring to them. It may seem to other churches like it's a risk to take because it's a lot of people, a lot of hours, things like that. But I was pleasantly surprised how everyone pitches in and does their part. And I would encourage any church to get involved with Family Promise, because if you're going to let the fear of the risk limit you, you're never going to experience the many blessings that come with being part of Family Promise. And by far and away, we have experienced blessing from being involved far beyond anything that we put in, even though it is a bit of work. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't changed my perspective, only because early on in my 20s, I was in a situation where for some reason I was in between leases for apartments and was living in a tent in a state park looking for an apartment. And then in the midst of that lost my job and found myself then, how am I going to look for an apartment without income? So technically I was homeless. The difference is that as a privileged person in this society, I went home and stayed with my parents for a couple of weeks until I found a new job. Not everyone has that ability and that opportunity, and so I'm deeply aware of how quickly one thing, or maybe one thing after another, can suddenly leave you homeless. Yeah, we do have an image of homeless people, but the reality is that every one of us, including me, can become homeless in the blink of an eye. And Family Promise helps, again, to keep people together, get them back on their feet. And so, yeah, I don't know if there was any wariness on people's part because there is that sort of stigma around homelessness. There was not for me, because I've been homeless, even though it was only for 3 or 4 hours before I drove home and to my parents' house and was back on my feet, basically. But if you don't have that safety net, if you don't have that network of support, then things can spiral out of control very quickly.